Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining us for the new Edward J. Lewis II Lawyers in the Classroom program series. For those of you who aren't aware, the Chicago Bar Association's Edward J. Lewis II Lawyers in the Classroom program has existed for over 30 years. The program, which was originally a part of Constitutional Rights Foundation Chicago, involves me, Tiffany Watson, director of the program and former teacher and administrator, placing attorneys in second through eighth grade social studies and social science and literature classrooms to teach students about the U.S. Constitution, their constitutional rights, our legal system, and their rights and responsibilities under the law. Now, under the auspices of the Chicago Bar Association's 501c3, since 2019, the Lawyers in the Classroom program has continued to flourish. Attorney volunteers are partnered with teachers to provide students with grade level lessons and knowledge based on real life experiences, help them develop their critical thinking skills, and offer young people an opportunity to interact with a variety of positive adult role models. The purpose of this series is for you to learn more about our participants in the Lawyers in the Classroom program, i.e., our attorney volunteers and teacher partners, while also learning about what they've experienced during their Lawyers in the Classroom visits. Today we have two attorney volunteers. We're speaking with two of our attorney volunteers from the law firm Kirkland and Ellis, Yoshi Haynie and Demetrius McCloud. Both are in the mergers and acquisitions practice at Kirkland. Thank you, Yoshi and Demetrius, for joining me today. So just to get things started, why did you both decide? I know you just mentioned that you just joined Kirkland and Ellis 6 months ago and you jumped right in, but why did you decide to be a part of the Lawyers in the Classroom program?
I can go first. I think, first of all, Demetrius and I were part of the same fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and a huge part of that is service, is giving back to our communities, especially our diverse communities. And I think for us, having an opportunity, being first generation attorneys, ones where you don't grow up around attorneys, judges, doctors, right? So a graduate program like that, just to have the opportunity to expose our youth to something like that, to have the image, I'm a firm believer that you can't dream about something you don't see, right? And so to have and provide that sort of access as early as possible, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, I agree. Just to, give my spiel, I think exactly what Yoshi said, that exposure piece is the biggest concept of the whole program. I think that, giving that service and that time to the youth while they're young, while they're in this impressionable state, and allowing them to see not only, a whole occupation and life, journey, but to see it from people that look like them and young people that, at the same time. I think that it's a different level of respect that comes with that and a lot of influence that, pairs with it. So that's one of the main reasons, in addition to what Yoshi has already spoken on, that we both felt that it was a no-brainer for us to be a part of it.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, you mentioned your fraternity has those values, and I continue to support that as I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And so I totally understand those values. Education is the focal point of our sorority. And so that's awesome that you were able to connect those values to the program and reaching out to the students. Why do you believe the program is beneficial based on your experiences?
So yeah, I can take this one. So, I think that the program in itself is beneficial because, again, not only the exposure, but the ability to really challenge students, challenge their ability to critically think, to apply current events, to also tie that to what they're learning in the books while in class. I think that's one of the biggest pieces why this is so beneficial to the students, just to hear them, speak on the things that's happening around them daily and tying that to what they know of the Constitution, what they're learning in the classroom. I think is just amazing. It's amazing to hear and see how their minds operate and how they can, create these spaces and listen to these scenarios and really analyze how that will play out in real life. to hear the dialogue and back and forth between the students is one of the things that I think is beneficial, and just really allowing them to like challenge themselves and really analyze like where they can go with these different scenarios. I think that's one of the huge benefits.
Excellent.
In addition, I think it's the practical aspect, right? Just having what does what I'm learning in school look like years down the road in a career. I know a lot of times when I was in school, just thinking about a lot of the lessons I'm learning, like, when would I ever use this, right? It's just, I don't really see myself learning or using geometry. It's just, what am I doing this for, right? And so to have a lesson of, our last one, we were doing jury selection, right? And we just, to have, publicized cases that we're looking, and I'm sure a lot of us, or a lot of the students probably see their parents, or even maybe that they find an interest watching, or even just watching shows like Law and Order, and, just seeing that sort of access, but to see the behind the scenes of what does that really look like, right? And to learn from someone in the field, it's just that hands-on experience of really being able to say like, I could see myself doing something like this, versus reading from a textbook, listening to your teacher lecture you, but really just giving you that hands-on experience and just sort of giving you the visual of sort of what that looks like, I think is beyond valuable.
I agree. And I will say, like, even with that, like the practical piece, I think the first time that I was exposed and knew that I wanted to pursue the practice of law was during my middle school mock trial, right? In school, first time exposed to it, now actually in the courtroom, seeing like how that actually happens in real life, can tie back all the way to my middle school experience during the mock trial. So I think that's just, again, just valuable in itself, and that's how far down the road it can really tie.
Excellent. Excellent. So I know that you guys participated for the first time this year, but if you have any favorite experiences or any particular highlights during your visits that you want to share, we'd love to hear them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just, it gave us the opportunity, I think, to really just understand impact. I mean, just to immerse ourselves in a classroom, even virtually, right? To give ourselves the opportunity to interact and really just, even learn from them, right? See how advanced our next generation of students are. I think it was just enlightening, but also just, it was a great time. And I know a lot of the times you have, some situations where, especially in the virtual setting, it's like no one wants to participate. But I mean, I can sure attest this last time, it was probably too much participation, right? Like to the point where, everyone just felt the desire and really just the comfort to add to the discussion, to sort of give their opinions and to welcome those opinions. And really just, they had us laughing the whole time, right? It just, I don't think I had a bigger smile on my face in the last few weeks. And that was one of those times. So just to sort of escape from work in such a high pressure environment and really just to be able to give back, I think is really just one of the highlights, right? And to see that you're pouring into what will be the next generation. And I think for where the statistics are, especially for minorities in the law, without providing that sort of access, without sort of redirecting what could be a vision or a dream, where it gets shut down when you don't see any attorneys or lawyers like that. That to me is just sort of like, well, if I can be any help whatsoever, and I'm sure Demetrius shares the same sentiment. It's like, well, if we can be any help, or you can access it at any time. And to talk about Demetrius's point of, having someone that you can sort of see yourself in, not like a 60, 70-year-old lawyer, right? Like at the end of the day, that might be the perception. But to provide that and just, be able to connect with them on a pretty intimate level, I think was definitely one of those moments that are pretty favorable.
I agree. I agree completely. And I will say, like, the experience in itself is already so meaningful, right? And this is something that's been, a passion of mine for many years. During law school, I took place in the similar program for the Washington Bar Association, where we went into school in person, right? And that was even, much of a different experience. But to see the level of engagement that these students have virtually, right, in what is already a very difficult, environment, situation, you know, we don't know home environments or, you know, the amount and ability to actually focus. But the amount of engagement we've seen in these students these past times of volunteering virtually has just been amazing, right? The dialogue, the back and forth, the correcting, the challenging, you know, I think I remember one of our first times we were speaking about the Constitution, I forget the subject, but I mean, just reciting the Constitution, like different, like, I'm like, I don't even remember, you know, what Article 7 is of the Constitution. And they're schooling us. I think that's one of the biggest, you know, impacts for me, and why it's so meaningful to really allow for these students to, again, see themselves, challenge themselves, and apply what they're learning to real world experiences. It's just been some of my favorite times.
Yeah, I'll take it even one step further, with just saying, I think that's a testament also to the teachers, right? Like, absolutely, to have such great teachers that not only welcome, because it's not like they can turn that on with welcoming a guest into the classroom. Right. And so I think that's just a testament of just the community, the environment that the teachers have provided these students to not only voice their opinions, but to welcome them with open arms, and to turn that into what is a very respectful interaction with what Demetrius and I have shared with these students. So
absolutely. I always think about like the substitute type situation. It's never that. When we come into the classroom, it's always engagement, always a great interaction, full of smiles, full of laughs. There's been many times where Yoshi and I have been like, can you believe? And it's been great. Like, it's really been good. Just the amount of intellect that they've shown.
That is awesome. I'm so glad that the two of you were able to, first of all, be a part of the program this year, but also it seems like you really fostered some strong relationships with the students. I mean, right away, immediately, and you were able to transfer some knowledge, and they were able to transfer some to you. And that's what learning is about. And so I'm just really grateful that the both of you are a part of the program this year and that you've gained so much from it. And I just appreciate you taking the time to meet with me to discuss the Lawyers in the Classroom program. And I look forward to continuing to partner with both of you. So thank you so much.
We can't wait till it's in person again.
Yeah. all of us are feeling that way. All righty. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Take care.